Welcome back, sleepyheads, and yeah, welcome to my Furry Protogen 2. For new, subscribe. For nothing, you know the drill. Watch this video up to the end, or new or old actually. Why am I saying just the old OGs? But hey, anyone's pretty much welcome here. Just don't be degens. What I'm saying, keep it down to your pants. Yeah, but then again, I am making videos like these. But yeah. Hopefully you're having a wonderful time. Let's go to the game. The beast ran away, and I want to see who this character is. Juno got that blicky. She got a Glock in Ferrari. That's not a human, my man. As soon as he saw us, his face stretched, his eyes widened, and for a few moments, the three of us stared at each other in stunned silence. Then the creature began to speak rapidly in a low, masculine voice, but I couldn't understand a word. Its language sounded like a collection of random sounds that made no sense to me. Apparently my confusion was apparent on my face because Juno elbowed me in the side and pointed to the communicator in my ear. I quickly turned it on, and I'm turned on, and the local language began to broadcast like translation directly into my ear. Who are you? Where did you come from? Juno put her Glock in a Rari. She got a Glock in a Rari. 6, 7 notches. Wait. Alright. Juno put her gun away and put her hands out in a peaceful gesture. Don't be afraid of us, we won't hurt you. She spoke slowly in the creature's language as if she were soothing a small child. My name is Juno, this is my companion Brizzy. He got the Rizzy because he got that blicky. We come in peace and wish you no harm. Completely confused, I blurted out inappropriately. Yes. The creature looked at us, shifting its gaze from one to the other. Its gaze stopped on Juno. I beg your pardon, are you by any chance a Protogen? Juno's helmet reflected a surprised expression. Yes, I'm a Protogen. How did you know? I didn't realize this plan had developed so quickly in a short period of time. Oh no, it's the same old thing. It's just that we've had a Protogen come here before, about 5 years ago, maybe a little more. I don't remember his name. He stayed in our village. The local finally got up out of the snow and shook off the clumps that had stuck to his clothes and looked at me. I've never seen anyone like you before, handsome. Who are you? Me? I'm a human. Human? That's great! Where's your fur? My fur? The local nodded. All the space travelers I met had fur and you're kind of naked. I blinked confusedly. My species don't have fur. Oh, I see. I apologize if that was a tactless question. It's no problemo, homeboy. We fell into a second of awkward silence. I'm Lance, by the way. Nice to meet you. Thanks for rescuing me. I thought for sure this Shia was going to tear me up today. Shia? Shia later, alligator. Hey. Shia, is that the name of this beast? Lance nodded. Yes, this season they've gone completely off the rails. They started coming to the villages and it's dangerous to go into the forest. 3 people from my village have already been torn apart. Juno nodded thoughtfully. What were you doing out here by yourself if it's dangerous? I had to come out here. I need to get some twigs for the fire and there was no one else to go. I was lucky you were here to save me. How far is your village, my man? 3 hours away, goddamn. You said these animals, Shia, right, have gone completely off the rails? What does that mean? Has it ever happened before? I immediately understood why Juno was asking that question. She must have suspected it was about the device. Lance nodded at her question. Yeah, the Shia aren't usually found here at all. They live deep in the forest, feed on carrion, and they are afraid of hunters. Back in Aegis, they were invisible, but as soon as Itis came, it was likely they went crazy and started attacking us. Aegis and Itis are the name of the seasons? Sorry, I had to double check here. We don't have seasons. In the south, only the Iris and Ivis are a little warmer than here. What the flip are you talking about, my man? Speaking goddamn English! Well, it technically is, just different terminology and specific things. It was hard for me to imagine what it would be like to live in endless winter all my life. Give me a white Christmas. Yeah. And you? You're a male, aren't you? I remember Juno meeting me, asking me the same question. Juno must have remembered it too because her helmet reflected a soft smile. At my question, Lance squared his shoulders a little like he was trying to appear taller. Yes, I'm male. Are you a male as well? Yes, I thought so. By the way, you're kind of short. Yo, what are you... Yo, he's mogging us right now. We're fighting. No, I'm an adult and I'm not short. Let's stand it hard for our species. Lance remark pricked my pride a little. He smiled immediately. Oh, I'm sorry. Like I said, I've never met anyone like you before. What did you call yourself? Human. Exactly, it's funny. Why are you called that? Does it have any meaning in your language? No, we got no time for that, homeboy, because Juno asked Lance. Are you an adult yourself? How old are you? I was born 17... Oh, years ago. So you're younger than me. Lance laughed and shrugged. I guess so. What are you even doing here? Were you just passing through? Magal and I looked at each other. She answered. We're on business, you might say. We're looking for some artifacts. We've already collected most of them, but there are some of them left. What kind of artifact? We don't have anything on our planet that would be valuable to sky travelers. You don't want to take our resources away, do you? Lance frowned slightly. June immediately shook her head. No. Of course we're not taking anything from you. It's just that, a while back someone left some stuff on your planet and we're looking for it. Has anyone flown in recently? You didn't see anyone? No strange creatures? Lance shook his head thoroughly. No, I don't remember anything like that. But I didn't see your ship either. If you hadn't helped me, I wouldn't have known you were around. And who is this someone who leaves this stuff here? Junie and I glanced over again and answered at the same time. We don't know. It's a long story. Lance looked at us questioningly, doubting us. Looking at us sussy-like. But he didn't inquire further. Alright, you guys can keep your secrets. Just answer, should I fear for my planet or not? Damn, this guy. This guy got a good nose on him. Many different answers swirled in my head. Lance was surprisingly much more advanced on the subject of space travelers. Someone must have told him before that his planet might be in danger, or he wouldn't have had such thoughts. It'd be fine, we'll just take the artifacts and fly away. Juno threw me a brief glance, but didn't protest and nodded. Well, that's fine then. I can help you find these artifacts of yours if you want. I'm very familiar with the area and all the roundabouts. The roundabout. This area can be quite dangerous if you don't know where to go. Honestly, any place on Earth, any place, any planet, if you don't know where to go, you gotta take it slow, you know? You gotta gather intel, as they say. Thank you, we will gladly take you up on your offer. We have a locator that indicates the location we need, but we could use the help of a local. Juno smiled once more and I shrugged. I didn't have an issue with accepting Lance's help, even though I felt that we didn't actually need it. Our tasks were nearly done here. All that remained was to gather the remaining devices, study one to understand its impact on the environment, deactivate it, and then depart. However, I also had a desire to interact further with the locals, especially if there was a representative among them who wasn't afraid of Juno. Great! It's been a long time since I've interacted with sky travelers. How have things in the universe changed in that time? Any interesting news to report? Lance looked on with genuine joy and interest, his gaze immediately lit up, full of enthusiasm. Honestly, if an alien comes by and has a translator, I'll also be asking the same question, like, what's with space right now? Like, anything new, anything cool, anything like, well, for us, would anything, you know, of concern? Danger maybe, or something just to know about? I guess nothing much happened. Comment down below if aliens actually contacted us, and then, you know, what would be your first question to them? I guess mine would be like, got any female gals out there? I'm just kidding, man. I guess nothing much happened by space standards. A few years is not much time at all, so I don't even know what to tell you. Well, that's probably a good thing. Everything's peaceful and calm. Lance smiled a little embarrassedly and then suddenly caught himself. Where do you need to go, by the way? Show me where you're going and I'll figure out the best way to get there. Juno handed Lance the locator and pointed to a flashing dot a few kilometers away. Lance, seeing the dot, looked around and looked in the direction she was pointing. You're lucky, I got in the way. That way is pretty dangerous and it's inhabited by Urians. And they don't like visitors, so we avoid that area. Who are the guys you mentioned? Lance grinned when he heard that question from my communicator. You have such a funny way pronouncing words. I've never heard that accent before. Sorry, I'm French. Urians are predators with 2 legs and 2 hands, just like we have. They're pretty smart, but they don't go outside their territory. They eat mostly critters, but if a random passerby annoys them, they will hunt him down. Alright. Noted. I shuddered when I heard the story, but June only smiled. Then we're lucky to have you to guide us. Yes, let's go. We'll have to make a little detour, but we'll get around this place. I don't doubt that you would have been able to defeat them, but when that Protogen came to us, he told us that they can't interfere with the plant's ecosystem. So I guess that's the same case for you? Noddy noddy? Juno nodded thoughtfully. Yes, we only do it in extreme cases to protect ourselves or something like that. Alright, we got a good mutual understanding here. This guy's up to speed. We began our journey through the snowy forest. Lance bombarded Juno with various questions ranging from space-related topics to what the previous Protogen visitor had shared with him. Juno did her best to provide answers, although some things were unknown to her as well. This is because for the past 2 years, neither Juno nor I had shown much interest in news from the universe. Our focus had solely been on the mission, causing us to feel disconnected from the outside world. Despite Lance's naive and outdated inquiries, Juno patiently responded, trying to maintain a friendly demeanor and occasionally flashing smiles. That's my gal right there. Friendly. Meanwhile, I remained silent, keeping an eye on our surroundings to ensure we were not being followed. As we passed through this particular section of the forest, a strange atmosphere enveloped us. We were near the domain of those predatory creatures. Suddenly, a piercing howl erupted from a nearby direction, reverberating through the forest. Are these things like werewolves or something? The three of us froze in our tracks, started by the sound. Oh, good. This haunting cry, reminiscent of a scream, sent a chilling shiver down our spines. What the hell was that? It's a Urian scream. I think one of them is patrolling the area, watching us. Well, we are walking right on the border of their territory, but it's okay. They won't attack us if we move at the right pace. So they won't attack us as long as we follow you, right? Yep, as long as you follow me with the same speed. So what I see from here is they don't like, any brash behavior, anything that's a bit too, fast paced, I guess. Oh, by the way, we have a legend about their origin. Would you like to hear it? I am curious as well. What are these creatures? Sure, as long as their speech doesn't provoke them. It's not that I didn't want to hear the story, but I couldn't understand why they were so calm. Weren't we like almost in danger? It's been passed down from generation to generation, from G to G. Or as a scarecrow to frighten all the children, warned them not to go into the forest. In ancient times, the Urians were the inhabitants of these woods. They lived in these places long before us and were neighbors of the spirits. Things were different in those days. It was always warm and thick forests grew all over the planet, and there was no snow at all. According to this legend, the Urians were the children of the spirit Gwarg, who created them from the branches of the great tree and the blood of the forest animals. Gwarg was bored, so he decided to create those he could care for. The Urians were a wealthy, advanced race who built settlements and traveled the planet. The spirits of Gwarg had a brother, the spirit Jargus. They were both children of the wind and sky, but they did not get along. Gwarg was a wise older brother who helped and protected nature and was its good friend, while Jargus was mean and envious, never able to reach his brother's greatness. When Gwarg created the Urians, Jargus was literally mad with envy. He tried to replicate what he had done, tried to create his own children, but nothing worked. All he could come up with were scarecrows made of sticks and leaves because Jargus was too evil and black to breathe life into them. Then Jargus decided to create his own creatures and molded a monster out of the carcasses of dead animals. He took the corpse of every animal that existed on the planet and piece by piece molded a huge, evil monster named Rykar. Rykar was not intelligent like the Urians, could not feel positive emotions, could not create beautiful things. But he was a loyal pet to Jargus, who began to train him, teach him, and scorch him with the blood of predators to make him evil and cruel. When Rykar grew so large that he could almost reach the sky, Jargus set him on Gwarg and made Rykar kill his own brother. Rykar tore him to pieces and devoured him. But it was such a cruel act, one that Gwarg did not deserve, that the sky became angry with Rykar and turned him into the mountain we now call Mountain of the Dead. But Gwarg could not be returned, and Jargus became the full spirit of the valley. He was angry and decided to turn his wrath upon the Urians, who were left without their patron. He turned the Urians into brutal monsters, very similar in appearance to Rykar, and cursed them, imprisoning them in the one place where Gwarg had once created them. Wow, what a sad story, my man. Jargus forbade him to leave his domain expansion, and over the years the Urians became my animals, so no longer sentient. They became animals, I tell you. And after the death of Gwarg and the rise of Jargus to power, the world was filled with grief and sadness. Eventually, Jargus fell asleep, and eternal winter followed his slumber. When Lance finished his story, there was a brief silence. I was a little shocked by what I just heard. Although there were beliefs and legends on my planet, but they were never so violent and bloodthirsty. It's all very cruel. Yup, but it's just a myth that never happened. The Protogen that visited us told me about the real history of our planet. Wait, so you know about the cataclysm? Yeah, perhaps I'm the only one who knows it, except for our elders. Well, then we have one less problem to worry about. By the way, I actually really like that story. But why didn't heaven protect Guark if he was so kind and good? Why did they let Rykar kill him? Could be fate, my man, woman. Lance shrugged. According to our beliefs, heaven cannot interfere with the lives of spirits. They are only an observer looking down on our lives. Did you believe in these legends before you found the truth? Lance grinned and shook his head. Of course not, they're all just fairy tales for children. But as a child, I really liked listening to them. It was interesting to understand how everything works, and such explanations were all my parents could give me. When they told me that in the time of this legend, the whole planet was covered with thick forest and there was no snow, I called bull. Couldn't even imagine such a thing. Kind of reminds me of how the myths of old were once kind of like cult-like religions, and then they were replaced with Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, what else? Islam. Yeah. And my parents didn't understand what it was either. They only were told what they heard from their parents, and those from their parents, and so on from G to G. So your myth has some truth in it. Yeah, but it's still far from the actual truth. Lance turned to me and asked with a smile. Is it the same on your planet? He waved his hand, referring to the snow around us crunching under our feet. No, it's different on my planet. We had snow too, but only once a year. My village was surrounded by a dense forest where there were different animals. There was a lot of greenery, different plants, berries, and mushrooms. Wow, mushrooms? We also have mushrooms growing on trees. We grow them ourselves. We heat the trees with fire so that mushrooms can survive, then collect them twice a year. Did they just grow in the forest on your planet? Yeah, you could go and collect a whole basket. They were growing near trees, and even on open fields. Lance looked at me with undisguised delight, his eyes beaming at what he'd heard. I would love to see everything you've mentioned at least once in my life. Now, to be fair, I saw it, but not with my own eyes. The Protogen who visited our planet showed me colorful pictures from other planets, and there were those forests and greenery you mentioned. Just an incredible sight. What a thoughtful, shareful, what I don't know if naive or kind Protogen. A sight that we can only dream of here. Lance sighed and headed further into the snow toward their goal. Juno and I looked at each other but said nothing as we followed him. We walked in silence for a few minutes. Can I ask you a favor? Juno and I looked at him puzzled. We nodded, interested in what he had to ask. When you find that artifact and fly back into space, can you take me with you? Whoa! This is gonna be a brother-in-law? Such a request stumped Juno and me. We were stunned, staring at Lance with our eyes wide open. With us? Into space? Yes, I won't get in your way. The Protogen was telling me about space stations where you can find companions and travel the universe. I want to get to a station like that, but I'll never be able to do it unless you help me. Please, it won't cost you anything. I won't cause any problems. Just assign a companion to travel with you for a while. Juno and I were silent as we considered Lance's request, who looked at us with hope in his eyes. He's so cute, man. Look at him, so huggable. What is it? I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, I hadn't expected someone to ask like that. But then again, there's so many people and planets that are so curious. I would say yes as well. If a fur... Not even a fur, just a Protogen. Just an alien that can communicate. And I know they just explore. I'm like, you know what? Cool. Sure. Let's go. But after being on this planet for even a few days, I could see why some people... Exactly, this planet looks like... This is one of those like... dystopian... No, post-apocalyptic worlds where it's just not that good. Not the good old days. This is the bad future days, you know? Juno, after a few long seconds of silence, finally asked, "Are you sure this is what you want? You realize there's a chance that you'll never be able to return here, right?" Lance pressed his lips together, his face contradictory emotions of longing, humility, and determination. He nodded. I've been thinking about this for a long time, ever since that Protogen flew away. I don't think this is the life I want for me here. I've never even gotten beyond these woods. I've never seen anything. What is there to see on this planet? There's nothing but snow everywhere. Ever since I was a kid, I dreamed of living here, of traveling, and when that Protogen arrived and told me that there were other planets, other civilizations, I felt like this was my chance to find a new life away from here. I would give everything to see the dense forest of another planet, to see how other creatures live there, even if it means I have to say goodbye to this planet forever. Fuck it, we ball. I could hear in Lance's voice that something was holding him back and he didn't want to talk about it. Does he have a gal back home, right here? Or something else for that matter? Watching him, I couldn't help remember how I'd left my village myself only to return later to the ruins. Lance, you don't really need it. But help me if you're really ready for it. If you don't change your mind till then, we'll take you on a ship and drop you off at the nearest station, okay? I glanced at Juno, waiting for some reason to stand up and object. To convince her was a bad idea, but I kept my lips pressed together. When Lance heard her answer, he said happily, "Of course, I won't bother you at all. You have my word." Okay, man. Perfect for a fur VTuber. I like this guy. You have no idea how important this is to me. You would completely change my life, thank you. I stayed silent again. Lance's desire was understandable, but still something inside me was churning, rising up to my throat, wanting to burst out. About the bus. But Juno didn't think so, apparently. Yeah, let's find the device first. Let's skedaddle, homegirls, homeboy. Sure, come on, we're almost there. We've already bypassed most of the dangers, so we're less than halfway there. Come quickly. With great enthusiasm, Lance set off ahead, almost skipping the snow. We continued on our way, chatting casually as we approached our destination. Ooh, nighttime! Juno asked if no one would lose him if he didn't come home for a few nights in a row, but Lance just waved it off. He's a nice guy, and Juno and I really enjoyed hanging out with him. He was genuinely interested in us and our jet and enjoyed chatting with Pixie. When he first got on the jet, he almost jumped out of his skin when he heard Pixie's voice. As it turned out, the Protogen who had once been to this place and interacted with Lance had not invited him to his jet. Most likely because Lance was a child at the time, so everything here was new and unusual to him. The more I looked at Lance, the more I felt a not so pleasant sense of recognition. Lance reminded me of me, for real, for real. He's like me. Honestly, if you ask yourselves who are you in the mirror, you know there's only one reply you can say. What do you do? Well, I drive something inside you. Dun, dun, dun. He preferred not to talk about himself at all, switching all our attention to stories about his planet and his people. Lance wanted to travel and explore as much as I did. I want to travel to space, my man. Not boring, endless, dark matter, just the dark oceans of space. No. Going to planets, meeting other creatures and people, you know? That sounds cool. I suspected there was something behind all this that Lance didn't want to tell us. Just I hadn't wanted to tell Juno, but I couldn't say for sure. Nor could I ask directly. Such topics were too personal, and even if Lance and I had become great friends over the past few days, it still didn't mean anything yet. I was torn with conflicting emotions when it came to him. On the other hand, I liked talking to the guy, I liked getting to know him better, and he really didn't interfere with our search for the devices. He woke up early. Damn, he's a morning person. I'm more of a night person. I woke up late. No. I can wake up early, but I gotta time it 8 hours. So if I want to wake up 6 a.m., I gotta sleep at 10 p.m. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Or 9:30, as early as 9:30 if I want to wake up earlier. Because of that, I kept thinking about how I could talk Lance out of it. How could I passively tell him that distant space was not the place where any ordinary creature from an underdeveloped civilization wanted to go? I told him that I already knew about the dangers of the Black Void. The planets could seem like hell, but Lance never took my words as a warning. You know what? It made him more turned on by the idea or something like that. I felt both angry and sympathetic at the same time, and I respected him for burning with his dream. And though it seemed wrong to indulge such a dangerous desire as space travel, I still wasn't in a hurry to get into an open argument and say outright that Lance didn't want it. You can't handle the truth! Seeing my displeasure and discomfort, Lance asked me about my planet, what it was like, and what the climate was like, though I'd already told him he wanted to know more. About my civvy, about everyday life, about beliefs and legends, about what our language was like. He's a nice guy, my man. He's a nice guy. Nevertheless, we still enjoyed trying, and we could talk a fair amount in our own languages due to the devices. Juno got along great with Lance too, and sometimes look at him with a lingering sadness, seeing him as Toshi. Lance was such a kind and open and inquisitive guy that he was like a child, making me feel fond of him. Soon enough, Juno and I began to treat him like a little brother. Aww. I wanted to protect him, to keep him from making mistakes, but I realized that I could not interfere in his fate. It would have been great to take him with us, traveling through space together if it hadn't been for the mission. Juno and I had agreed to do it willingly, and Lance still didn't know what artifacts we were looking for or the danger behind it all. There was no way to let him take that risk, and Juno and I were careful not to tell the whole truth. Lance ever learned that my planet had been destroyed long ago, like so many others before it, and his planet was still in danger. There were more of them on Wire and them than on the 0122-1M. Juno and I mutually assumed it was a matter of habitability. That other planet was lonely and only beasts were its inhabitants, while here, in addition to the harsh climatic conditions, were also intelligent beings. Whoever was behind all this was trying to be as safe as possible, to take into account all possible risks, and that was both rage-inducing and frightening. What we were dealing with was still a mystery to us. We went to war with the unknown. Finding that our search was coming to an end, having disabled the other devices, we headed for the last one. Juno had stocked up on all the necessary equipment in advance to analyze the device's operation as much as possible, and had taken a few robotic assistants from the jet to have backup in case of everything. Nasa was extremely interested in the device we were finding and stated with certainty that there had definitely never been any on his planet. I was curious about the idea of observing one, especially after seeing all animal corpses around the devices. Oh no, there were far fewer corpses on Wire than on this planet, but we didn't know why. The device range was also not, so this one's different. So it depends on the planet, I guess. It's a case-to-case basis. That's what my hypothesis is. Comment down below, what do you think it is? When all the equipment was set up at the proper distance around the device, Juno suggested Lance go back to the jet while we waited, but he asked to stay and spend time with us and watch us work. We didn't mind his company, although I thought it might be dangerous, but I didn't say it out loud. Soon Lance took us to one of the caves to build a fire and warm ourselves. From here on, we could see the device left outside and surrounded by equipment, and Pixel was giving Juno all the news regarding the analysis. The three of us settled around the fire. It was cold and damp in the cave, though the stone wall saved us from the strong wind. By the way, you still haven't told me what your mission is. Why do you need these devices? Do you need to collect them or something? Oh god, this guy is fucking... His intuition is insane, man! He's locking in. He's locked in right now. I was surprised Lance hadn't asked about it right away days ago. I guess he was being respectful when we'd found the first device, but I guess he'd been too distracted by the sheer number of new discoveries and events to think about it. We don't collect them. We're trying to help. Lance frowned, shifting his gaze questioningly from me to Juno and back again. Help? Help who? Our planet? As well as many other planets. Seeing the reflected seriousness on our face, Lance frowned and nodded. He turned back to the device, a purple spot shining in the blizzard. That's what I thought. They're not just artifacts. It's not like a normal artifact would kill living things, right? But I was hoping there was nothing serious about it. I was hoping that I could push the 30 minutes, my boys and gals, right here. Guys and gals, sleepyheads. I'm ending this video right here. Thank you for watching. I'll be seeing you in another video of my Furry Protogen 2. Or I want to hug that gator. Or some other cool video that I will, cook up. Other than that, thank you for watching. Bye. See ya.